Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. We are out here. It is a beautiful day at the range. Took a little bit of hiking to get out here. Today, we're going to be shooting, oh my gosh. We're going to be shooting this Ruger Security 9. Security 9 Pro, actually. I'm going to be shooting the Winchester 115 grain white box 9mm. Let's have some fun. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. We've got a great video for you guys today. It's about a fairly interesting pistol. It's the Ruger Security 9 Pro. And this might look like your standard polymer frame, striker fired 4-inch pistol, but it's not. It's actually very unique in its feature set and just what it is. So we're going to talk about that. Before that though, I want to thank everyone that has subscribed to the channel. We haven't been at this for that long. We passed 100 subscribers this last week. First 100. The next goal is to reach 1,000, and the sky's the limit from there. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Like, share these videos with everyone you know that might be interested in them. And please give me a comment on the content that we offer today and what you think about it. From there, let's get started. Ruger Security 9 Pro. It's a pretty interesting pistol. Runs pretty well. So the Ruger Security 9 is a compact sized pistol. As you can see there, I can wear it in a holster on my hip, and it's fairly comfortable. In fact, it's kind of my winter carry pistol. You know, I use the 3.2-inch barreled Taurus, honestly most of the time for carry, but this is another comfortable option. It is basically the exact same size as a Glock 19, which is pretty much the most popular compact carry pistol that there is. So this is a competitor to that. Now the Security 9 has been out for a couple years, and like I said, same size as the Glock 19, pretty much the same weight, same barrel length, 4 inches, same capacity, 15 rounds. It was designed to be a competitor to that Glock 19 size pistol frame, which is probably the most popular size of pistol that there is, and there's a good reason for that. You know, it's a little bit bigger than something like this, than a subcompact, which makes it more fun to shoot, a little bit more comfortable, handles recoil better, has a bigger capacity, 15 versus something like 12. But it's smaller than something like a full-size M&P 2.0. And so it's in a size where you can still conceal it and carry it comfortably. So for those reasons, it fits a lot of roles very well. But this is kind of an interesting pistol. So the thing about the Security 9 when it first came out is that it was a more budget-friendly option versus something like a Glock 19. When I bought this was the first gun that I bought, and I looked at a Glock 19, but I thought that this looked better. It feels really good in your hand. It's got, to me, a more comfortable, more shootable grip angle. In fact, the angle of this grip matches the angle of the 1911 and the M&P 2.0, literally exactly. They have the same grip angle. And that angle, I believe, is 18 degrees. And I like that grip angle. I've gotten very used to it. Most of my pistols have that same grip angle. To me, it's very comfortable. So when I was in the gun shop looking at pistols that day, trying to decide on what I wanted for my first handgun, I picked this up and it felt great. The other thing about the Ruger, like I said, it was more of a budget option when it came out. The standard Security 9, I think it was about $300. So almost half the price of what a Glock 19 Gen 5 is going for these days. This one's a little bit more. This is closer to $500. And it comes with a couple extra features. And so that's what I got. I'm going to explain those features in a minute, but first I just want to explain what the Security 9 is. So like I said, it's considered compact. It's got a 4-inch barrel, 15 round capacity, which is, you know, not bad at all. Pretty much standard for this size gun these days. It's got a full Picatinny rail. I used to have a laser attached to this rail, but you could put a light on it. You could put, you know, whatever kind of attachments you want. Picatinny rail rather than the Glock style rail that only has one slot. So I like that. The thing is, it's not a polymer frame pistol. This is actually glass filled nylon. And you can tell just by, you know, holding it, it feels very tough. Not that a polymer pistol doesn't, but it's just different, which is hard to explain through a camera. But if you pick this pistol up and hold it, you can tell what I'm talking about. So it's glass-filled nylon. Also, this is not a striker-fired pistol. It's actually hammer-fired. It's got an internal hammer, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. So when you rack this pistol, it doesn't act the same way a striker-fired pistol does. For one thing, to reset the trigger, you have to rack the slide all the way back to reset the hammer there. And if you look in that back little slot there, I'm going to try not to flag myself. You can see the hammer in there. When I pull the trigger, you can see that drop. So it's actually a hammer-fired gun, and there's some cool things about that. So for one, it makes it very easy to rack the slide because you're not, you're not cocking a striker. So it's got of all my guns, it's got the easiest slide to rack. It's super smooth. Like, I mean, I keep it clean and lubed anyway. But man, like, of all these guns, it's got a very smooth action to it. And it's also got a very interesting trigger because of that. So it's got it's almost like a flat face trigger there with the little dingus or whatever you want to call it, trigger safety. And instead of having to cock a striker like most striker fired pistols need to do, it literally just drops a hammer. So the hammer's cocked when the slide is, reciprocated back. So this pistol, it's got just a very little bit of take up and a very crisp break. It's got a very nice trigger. Now, it's a little bit heavy on the break, for sure. And you can hear the reset. It's not the most tactile or most audible reset in the world. But honestly, I really like the trigger on this gun. I like it actually much better than the trigger on my M&P, even though I like most of the other features of the M&P better. But I like the trigger on this pistol quite a bit. And it's one of those things where you kind of have to feel it to know what I'm talking about. But it's not a bad trigger. I like it a lot. So what sets this pistol apart from the regular Security 9 is a couple things that I was interested in when I bought it. For one, it has Tritium night sights. I'm not going to turn the lights off for this video, but if I did, you'd be able to pick those sights up really well. It's the only pistol that I have that has the night sights, factory installed, and I appreciate that quite a bit. Because that's something, if I want to, I'm going to have to change out on my other pistols. It's going to cost extra money. And yes, it costs extra money for this. This pistol costs, almost $200 more than the base model. And really, all you get for that extra money, you get the Tritium night sights, you get 3 magazines, 15-round magazines instead of 2, which that's really nice. It was nice to, especially for my first pistol, to have 3 magazines to start with. I like to keep one of them loaded with, carry ammo, Federal HST hollow points. And then I've got a couple other mags that I can load up with standard ball ammo to go to the range. And, you know, it's better to have a couple mags to practice with at the range than just one, in my opinion, you know? So having 3 magazines is pretty nice. The other thing about the Pro model is no external safety. So I like a pistol without an external thumb safety, unless it's a single action 1911. In that case, you kind of need it for safety reasons because of the, you know, short, light trigger. A carry gun like this, the only safety is the little dingus on the trigger safety. And I like that. It's got a heavy enough pull through the brake that I don't feel like you need a safety. It's just one extra thing to have to deal with if you needed to use your gun in a life and death situation. And it's not something I'm a huge fan of. Now, my actual, 90% of the time carry gun does have an external safety on it as well. But you don't have to use it, you can just leave it off. But still, I do appreciate that they took that off of the Pro model. Like I said, the only other real differences between the base model and the Security 9 Pro are that external safety, the Tritium night sights, and you get an extra magazine. Another thing about these sights though is that the way they're shaped, see how you have like a nice ledge on there? So that's there so that you can do one-handed manipulation. If you're ever in a situation where you only have one hand available to you, you can rack that, off of your belt really easily like I just did. You can rack it off of anything, a table, your shoe, whatever. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. This gun also comes with a lot of other features that make it kind of stand out for the price. So for the price of less than a Glock 19, less than an M&P, less than a lot of other guns in this class and size, it's pretty cool. So you get front and rear cocking serrations on the slide, and they're very easy to manipulate. They're really good. So front and rear cocking serrations are nice. It's got a decent slide lock / slide release. Pretty easy to manipulate. Now, when I first got it, it was actually very difficult. It took a little bit of breaking in. And you read the manual that comes with it, and it says that this is a slide lock, not a slide release. That's what the manufacturer states. But the more I've shot it, you see it's still a little bit difficult sometimes. But on a full mag, it'll drop pretty easily, which is nice. Like I said, that trigger's nice. It's got an interesting grip texture. It's not super aggressive, like say an M&P 2.0 or something. But it's just tacky enough. I've not really ever had an issue with this sliding around in my hands. I was out shooting in the snow today to film this video. No issues whatsoever. So it's got a very decent grip. It's got a long enough grip for, my basically medium-sized hands. I can fit my pinky on it without a problem. Little bit of a ledge on the bottom of the magazine to kind of hold your grip up high into the gun. It's got a nice little undercut here at the trigger so that you can get a good high grip on it. It's got a low bore axis compared to a lot of pistols, which really helps to control that recoil and to aim down your sights well. It's just a very, very comfortable gun to shoot. And so, I feel like I got pretty lucky with this when I bought it for my first one, being that at that time I didn't really know what to look for. Ruger Security 9. So the Security 9 Pro, like I said, it turned out to be a great choice for my first pistol, especially when it was, at that time, my only handgun. Is kind of the perfect, Goldilocks size. The 4-inch barrel, 15 round capacity. is really good for a lot of different purposes. It's small enough that you can carry it in a good holster. Yeah, this gun is almost as comfortable to carry as my subcompact Taurus. But it's got enough capacity to really have fun at the range and, to feel like you're well armed when you got 15 rounds of good hollow point in there. And it's a super comfortable gun to shoot, Mag release works great. All the controls are easy to reach, easy to deal with. Yeah, it's just a fantastic gun. It breaks down a little bit interesting. So to field strip this gun is a little bit interesting. It's not quite as easy as, an M&P, a Glock, 1911 is a little bit more complicated, but standard modern like striker fired guns. So this thing, you see this pin here, you pull this back just a little bit to line up that pin with the notch in it. I like to use a little screwdriver. A bullet casing will work, but you pull that out, pin comes out, and the slide comes off. You don't have to dry fire it for those of you that are worried about, dry firing a gun indoors. And then you've got your recoil spring and your barrel. And it breaks down like most modern firearms do in that way. The recoil spring is very light compared to any of my other pistols, which is interesting. It makes it really easy to get in and out of here, which is nice. And like I said, easy to rack the slide in that way. And the slide assembly is very simple because there's no striker block, any of that stuff. You can see the back of the firing pin there. And, in your frame, you've got your hammer here. And so all the real mechanics are in the frame of the pistol, not so much in the slide, which is kind of interesting. But I found it to be very reliable. The only issue that I've had with this gun at all was it was literally the day that I bought it. You can see how easy it is to go back together. So the day that I bought it, not knowing a whole lot about ammunition or anything yet, this was a long time ago, I bought a 50-round box of whatever, brass cased ammunition. And I bought a 50-round box of some very cheap Tula steel case 9mm. Was wondering why the steel case ammunition was so much cheaper. Well, I found out very quickly, this gun doesn't really like that steel ammo. It might be different now that I've broken it in with, thousands of rounds I've put through this. But the very first day, I put 50 rounds of the brass case ammo through it, no problems. I think it was the second magazine of the steel case ammo, and a round got stuck in the chamber, and I couldn't get it out. I couldn't rack the slide back, nothing. It was like stuck, and it kind of worried me. It was a bit of an issue. I ended up getting it out. It took me like half a day, and then went back to the range same day to shoot the rest of that box of Tula, and another round did the exact same thing. And I had to deal with that night, and it was kind of a nightmare, and I was kind of like, dude, did I buy a good pistol? Is this going to be a major problem for me? Since then, I've not bought any more steel-cased ammunition at all, except for recently I got a bunch of 7.62 by 39 for the AK that I'm getting here very shortly. AKs are known to run steel ammo really well. In fact, they prefer it. So I'm not worried about that. But I don't run steel ammo in this anymore. And you know what? Since that first day, I have never had another malfunction, another stoppage. I've never had another failure to feed, failure to extract, or failure to fire. This gun has been 100% flawless since that box of Tula. Take that, whatever you want, but just so you know, if you do get a Security 9, it might not like the cheap Russian ammo. So that's what I found. Maybe it would run it just fine now. It's been broken in and the thing runs like butter these days. no issues with it. But gotta be honest and upfront with you guys so that you know what you're getting into. Other than that, I know that these are fairly popular. I'm sure a lot of you guys have them. If you can leave me a comment, tell me what you think about yours, whether you have the base model or the pro model. When I bought this, I didn't even know that this was different than the base model. Like I said, it was my first handgun. I didn't know a whole lot about what I was getting quite yet, but I feel like I made a great choice. It's still one of my favorite guns to go shoot. Thing runs perfectly as long as I run decent ammunition through it. I'll show you what it comes with when you buy it. Like I said, the Security 9 has been known to be a budget option compared to comparable firearms, and there's some ways that they save cost for you. It doesn't come in a fancy case or anything. It comes in the standard Ruger cardboard box. In the box, you get your gun lock, you get a range flag, and for some reason, Ruger likes to put these yellow rubber bands around the grip. So it also comes with your manual, which I believe it is a good idea to read that, especially if it is your first gun like it was mine. You want to know what you're getting into. Because of that, and at the time, I didn't have a gun safe yet, I bought one of these Pelican vault cases for it. I highly recommend this case. You basically cut out the foam and it fits everything in it just perfectly as long as you cut it perfectly. Kind of makes for a nice little display there, but also, it keeps it safe. It's got holes to lock it, so I just run a little lock through there. And, it'll stay out of the hands of people that you don't want it to be in the hands of, which is very important. Being a gun owner comes with a lot of responsibility, and you have to make sure that you take that very seriously. Because guns are completely safe if they're handled correctly and owned responsibly, but they can be very, very dangerous if you don't take the proper precautions, follow the rules of gun safety, and all that. So if you are just getting into firearms, make sure you read up on that kind of stuff and know what you're getting into and understand how to be safe and responsible. I will be doing a whole video about gun safety and the responsibility that comes along with gun ownership here shortly. But I just wanted to hit on that, especially because this Ruger was my first gun. So when I got it, it was one of the things that I had to learn at that time. So just a very important thing to remember. Security 9 Pro from Ruger. This is the first pistol that I ever bought. And I've put a ton of rounds through this thing. Runs as good today as it did the day I bought it. Better, actually. Super fun pistol. So Ruger Security 9, I like it a lot. I've told you the positive things that I think about it and the couple of negative things, which aren't really many. It's a great gun. It's, if you want to get into your first gun, the base model is only like $300. This is the Pro model, which has, just a couple more features. But I thought it was a great gun to get into for my first one. Really easy gun to manipulate, really smooth. Ruger is it's a company that's been around forever making firearms. They're very well respected, and they're known for making, quality, reliable firearms that just run, and they do. And that's been my experience with it. So, if you're looking to get into your first gun, or you're just looking to get into an affordable, mid-size, compact pistol, I think there's a great option. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Please tell me what your thoughts are. Let me know what your first pistol was. Let me know if you have a Security 9 and what your experience has been with it, whether positive, negative, or indifferent. Please share this video with those people you know that enjoy content like this. Stay tuned for more content. We've got tons of stuff coming. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow it as fast as we can, and I appreciate every one of you that has subscribed, has liked my videos, has sent me comments. I try to respond to every one of them. And yeah, just know that I appreciate all the support. So from Sawtooth Tactical, remember, stay strapped or get clapped. Till next time.